Hi guys, I would like to show you an experiment I did. As you guys know, I'm building a video editor that's based on AI, and to a large extent, it's based on the ChatGPT API. And to work with the various invocations of ChatGPT, it would be nice to use a framework that puts the calls together because I'm doing it by hand. And this is precisely what agenting frameworks are for. So there's LangChain, which everybody's familiar with, and there's a newer version. If you're trying to use LangChain, you might get a lot of deprecation messages. There's a newer version called LangGraph. Now, LangGraph allows you to put together workflows which are not DAG. So then the flow doesn't just go in one direction, but it actually can reach out to a human and ask questions, which is great because it's often part of the workflow which you want to implement. It also stores states, which is another big, really cool thing. So I was able to get this to work today, and I'm really happy because this is going to be really useful in my video editor. Not to mention the fact that agents are really cool. I like them because it's another abstraction. Professor Nag compared it to threading. So why do we have threads when we develop multi-tasking programs? It's an abstraction. It helps the developer think in that world, right? This the agenting, the fact that you can break things down into multiple agents. For one thing, it's easier to develop things like that, right? Because each agent can be its own tiny microservice. And the other thing, it helps your brain to think about these things as separate processes. There was a book a long time ago. I don't know, maybe by Marvin Minsky, I think, A Society of Mind, which came up with this idea that our mind is really just a collection, a society of agents, and that's what we're doing here. So it's very exciting stuff. I'm really happy I got this to work. I want to show you guys what I do for this experiment. This is a sample VTT file, and I'm trying to create a example of breaking up a VTT file into chapters at topic change boundaries. Now, this is not going to work very well because I'm not using my real prompt. My video editor, this actually works pretty well. To actually come up with a really good set of chapters, you have to play with the prompt and be quite clever. So I'm just using a really simple prompt here because that's not the point of this. I just want to show the flow of the agents, how one agent hands the result to the next agent. So this is naturally breaks down into at least two agents. One of them takes these VTT files. This is what a VTT file is. This is what a transcription is. When you, for example, Zoom creates a transcription, this is the format you get. And my video editor lets you take your recordings from Zoom, and that's how you can create a video out of it. A really cool video, by the way. I just want to say, if you guys want to try that out, if you want to try my video editor, please drop a comment and a like, and I will respond to you how you can get early access to it as soon as it becomes available. I just like to say, this is the VTT file, right? And my first agent. Okay, so okay, this is the code. I actually have it stopped at a critical point because I actually have a result. So the point is to take this VTT file, and first you need to concatenate it, because otherwise it's very hard for GPT to break it up at topic change boundaries. So I try to feed it in like this before. That's one of the clever things you have to do, because if you don't do it, you just won't know what to do. So okay, so the first agent, my first agent is preprocess VTT tool. Oh, it's actually not a tool. If you're going to look at LangGraph, they have tools. I wanted to make this into a tool that didn't quite work. So this is just the processing step on Edge. So you can also have tools. For example, you can turn ChatGPT into a tool, the LLMs can be turned into tools, or you can create your own tools. But I don't quite know yet how to do that. So this is a simpler way of doing it. So it's called a tool, but it's not really a tool yet. These are just edges. I believe that's the proper terminology here. And so the first one just pre-processes the VTT file, and the next one is going to take the output of the first one. So this is a flow of two agents, right? The next one is going to take that concatenated code and produce, and this is my problem. That's why I'm saying this is a really simple prompt. It doesn't work really spectacularly, but it did actually finally do what I wanted it to do, and the entire flow works. So the reason I stopped it here, and I can run it again, but I just, yeah, in case the prompt is not working enough, I want to show you guys the output it came up with now, because this is actually pretty good. This is kind of what I want out of this. So let's see. The response we got is, yeah. So I asked for the broken up concatenated VTT file broken up into a series of chapters, and the breakup should be at topic change boundaries. And I asked it to return a JSON array. So again, the first one simply concatenates. So I'm using the web VTT library to concatenate. And the next one is it takes that concatenated file. So if I look at my input here, my input is, so the way these things work is so you feed in a state, and then you return out a state, which has to be a Python dictionary. So this one returns a concatenated VTT. So I'm in my second agent now, and the second agent gets this state, and this one has that. So the initial input was my sample VTT file, which was processed by the first agent, and the second agent has the concatenated VTT. So that's what you guys see here, right? And so what I'm doing now, I stopped it at the last step. And the last step is, it already ran through this prompt, and it came up with this result. So if I look at this result, as you guys can see, I asked for a JSON output where I wanted an array of the chapters that it found. So this is one of my narrations for a video, and it broke it up and it returned a JSON array. So you have to be, if you guys played with the ChatGPT API, you have to be very specific what you want. Otherwise, you will not get JSON. And it also, it's really nice when you get the JSON in a markdown fenced code block, because then you have a consistent, predictable output that you can actually parse out. Because otherwise, it's really hard to get the JSON out of it. So okay, so I return from the second agent, and at the bottom of this file, I have a couple of other breakpoints to get the final state out. Let's see how that works. Okay, so this is my final state. So returned, if I look at my messages, it added, as you guys can see, it added another entry to the messages. So the way that the graph works, and by the way, I want to show you guys what this graph looks like. So this is the graph. You can print this out with LangGraph, the way this graph works is that each step adds an entry to your state. So it's an immutable data structure. You're not changing anything. And the way you create that graph, I want to show you guys that as well, is the way you create that graph it's somewhere here. You can display the let's see, I'm telling it a path, and then and I'm going to I display the graph out of you can just say app_get_graph draw mermaid PNG, and that just gonna give you a graph of your the graph you created, right? This is how you set up the steps that you want to execute. So so that's why we have these things in a flow, right? So you create this graph, as you guys can see. First one, it runs the first agent and it runs the second agent, and then you have to compile this graph. And the point of this PNG is that to debug, you can just create this PNG so you can visualize how everything should be working. So it's working nicely, and I'm in my last step here, and I have a result, right? This is my final state. So I have a result, and it's added the third step. So my initial input is here, right? The first agent's output is here, and the second agent's output is here. It's the JSON in a markdown fenced code block, right? Oops, that's not it. What is this should be it. I don't know why, or it's just debugger is not showing it, but you guys can see it's the right thing because it's showing it here. So it's the JSON that I asked for, and it's a JSON array. And then now I go and let's see what happens if I do that. Okay, so I got the content out of the third entry, right? Because that's the entry of the second agent. So the result should be in here. And that's my result, the JSON array. And then you can get a markdown. There's a markdown parser for Python that you can get, and you simply just parse this out. And that's how you can work with this programmatically. And now you just print it out, the result. So that's all there is to it. It's going to be really useful for me to use LangGraph to create my workflows for my AI applications, as opposed to hand coding the flow management. So, and not to mention the fact that LangGraph can handle, like I said, the human interaction as well, which is also very important. Like imagine building like I have a thumbnail editor. Actually, what it does, it automatically generates thumbnails. What if you don't like the thumbnail? So you want to go back to the human and ask if you like it, and if the human says no, you want to be able to regenerate that. So all of that I manually coded. LangGraph is going to help me with that because it has a framework for this. So thank you for listening. If you guys are interested in discounts on AI tools, please drop a like and a comment. I might be able to help, like video editors and so on, and other tools. And also, if you want to have access to my video editor as it comes out, please again drop a like and a comment, and I will let you know how to get access to it as soon as it becomes available. Thank you so much for listening, and you guys have a nice